When Blade sliced into theaters in 1998, few could have predicted just how monumental its impact would be. Wesley Snipes' portrayal of the half-human, half-vampire Daywalker didn't just redefine Marvel's cinematic ambitions, it helped pave the road for the superhero movie boom that would follow. Before Spider-Man, before X-Men, and long before the MCU, there was Blade. Its blend of gothic horror, martial arts action, and comic book cool turned an obscure Marvel character into a pop culture icon. The film's runaway success spawned two sequels, Blade 2, 2002, and Blade, Trinity, 2004, cementing Snipes' reputation as the definitive Daywalker. But in the mid-2000s, Marvel wasn't done experimenting. Determined to replicate the franchise's box office magic on the small screen, the studio set its sights on television. The result was Blade, the series, an ambitious continuation that aimed to expand the lore and lean even harder into horror. Blade, the series, a darker expansion of the Daywalker mythos. Premiering in 2006 on Spike TV, Blade, the series picked up where Blade, Trinity left off. Created by David S. Goyer, the writer behind the Dark Knight trilogy and the original Blade films, the series took bold swings, both narratively and tonally. With Wesley Snipes unavailable, rapper and actor Kirk "Sticky Fingers" Jones stepped into the role of Blade, while Jill Wagner joined the cast as Krista Starr, an Iraq War veteran turned reluctant vampire. The story followed Krista's infiltration of the sinister House of Thawne, a vampire sect led by Marcus Van Sciver, Neil Jackson. Under Blade's mentorship, Krista served as a double agent, navigating a shadowy underworld where loyalty and survival were constantly at odds. The series deepened the mythology first hinted at in the films, particularly the social hierarchy among vampires. It introduced the divide between purebloods, vampires born into their condition, and the turned, humans transformed through bites or injections. This tension drove the season's central conflict, culminating in Marcus' plan to unleash a deadly virus designed to wipe out the pureblood elite. The finale's shocking twist, the apparent extinction of purebloods, radically reshaped the Blade universe, promising a bold new direction that, tragically, was never explored. Why Blade's small-screen return was short-lived. Despite its potential, Blade, the series was short-lived, canceled after just one season. Spike TV never offered an official explanation, but several factors contributed to its demise. First, the show struggled with declining viewership. While the premiere drew strong numbers, interest waned as the season continued, likely due to audience skepticism toward a Blade without Wesley Snipes. Second, the series was expensive to produce. Its elaborate action sequences, heavy prosthetics, and visual effects pushed the limits of mid-2000s TV budgets, making it difficult for the network to justify renewal. Ultimately, the series ended not with a grand finale, but a quiet fade into cult obscurity. Yet nearly 2 decades later, its ambition remains admirable. Blade, the series may not have achieved mainstream success, but it offered fans a surprisingly rich and atmospheric extension of the original trilogy, rediscovering a forgotten gem of superhero horror. Revisiting Blade, the series today reveals a show that was ahead of its time. Beneath the uneven pacing and dated effects lies an unexpectedly layered story about identity, loyalty, and power. Jill Wagner's Krista Starr, in particular, brought emotional weight to the narrative, a grounded, tragic figure caught between two worlds. The series also dared to expand Blade's lore beyond its central hero. It gave fans a deeper glimpse into vampire politics, introducing lore-driven world-building that rivaled anything in the underworld films of the era. Though Sticky Fingers' portrayal lacked Snipes' signature charisma, he brought a harder, more stoic edge that worked well within the show's grim tone. What Marvel's upcoming Blade reboot can learn from the series? With Mahershala Ali set to wield the Daywalker's sword in Marvel Studios' long-delayed Blade reboot, the lessons of Blade, the series feel especially relevant. The show proved that the character thrives best when his world embraces both action and horror equally, when he's surrounded by danger, mystery, and the monstrous politics of vampirism. One major misstep the series made was sidelining Blade's personal arc in favor of world building. The new film must avoid the same trap. Mahershala Ali's Blade needs to be the emotional core, the lens through which audiences rediscover the vampire underworld. Fans want visceral combat, moral tension, and gothic energy, not a watered-down PG-13 superhero flick. If Marvel learns from both the triumphs and failures of its first small-screen experiment, the next Blade could recapture what made the original 1998 film so electrifying. A legacy that refuses to die. Nearly 20 years later, Blade. The series remains a fascinating chapter in Marvel history, an ambitious but overlooked bridge between horror and heroism. Though its run was brief, its ideas were bold, its lore expansive, and its spirit unmistakably in line with what made the original films so beloved. Before the MCU took over pop culture, before Marvel became a billion-dollar empire, Blade reminded audiences that superheroes could bleed, and sometimes, they could bite back.